Alright guys, since we've been talking about meteorology, today we are going to be making our very own rain cloud. So how we're going to do that is we need a jar, water, a dropper or a pipette, some food coloring, and some shaving cream. So first off, we're going to start by filling our jar almost full with water. Next we want to take our cup of water that we have and we want to put our food coloring in it. We're going to use blue to help us represent water, but you could use whatever color you want and make it however dark or light that you want. And so then we will take and stir that and shake up our shaving cream really well, and we're going to spray our shaving cream on the top of our water. We don't want it to mix in, so we want to spray it on top, but you don't want to make it too thick either. So it should look something like that. We can see our water and our thin layer of shaving cream. That shaving cream is going to actually represent our cloud. And so next we got to add in our raindrops. So we're going to take our pipette or our dropper and we're going to get some of our colored water and we're going to start dropping it over the top of our rain cloud. Keep adding drops, and as it gets more and more saturated with that water, you should begin to see it work its way through our cloud. So you'll be able to start seeing, we can start seeing now that our blue, our rain, is making its way down through our cloud and down towards what would be Earth in the simulation. Now that we have finished our experiment of our rain cloud, why does a rain cloud, or how does a rain cloud work? Well, short answer is basically clouds are made up of water particles and rain is simply precipitation falling from the sky. So within a cloud, there are millions of tiny water droplets. Those droplets bump into each other, and as they bump into each other, they grow, and then when they become so large and heavy that the cloud can no longer hold them, they must then fall to Earth. So it can fall to Earth as rain, as we all know. If it gets cold or below 32 degrees Fahrenheit, it can actually turn into snow. If that water is falling and it gets cold, but then it warms up, and it gets cold and it warms up, it can actually then build up layers of ice every time it goes through that cycle, creating hail. So how are clouds formed? Well, clouds are actually formed when water is evaporated from the Earth's surface or from plants that are giving off water and oxygen as part of their photosynthesis process. When it evaporates, that water rises from the Earth's surface into the atmosphere and forms a gas we know as water vapor. Water vapor then turns into the cloud when it cools and condenses, and then it will eventually turn back into water or ice. So that's a quick experiment just to show us about how a cloud works. Hope you guys had fun. Alright guys, so for our next activity, we're going to talk a little bit about how clouds form. So we talked about it a little bit already, but we're going to actually show you more of how this works. Alright guys, so for this one we're going to need our jar. Make sure we have our lid with it, hairspray, ice, and hot water. So we're going to start by putting around 1/3 cup of hot water in here and swirling it around. Alright, so once this is set for about 20 to 30 seconds or so, we're going to get our hairspray. We're going to quickly remove the lid. Don't take the ice off. Try to remove the lid with the ice. And you're going to spray hairspray into the jar and then replace the lid with the ice still on top. And we're going to watch very closely to see what happens. if we look, our jar is kind of clouded over now. And you can start to see that there's some stuff happening. See if we can add a little bit more. So you can see even down here in our water there's some stuff starting to happen, but watch it as it tries to rise back up. Like I said, make sure we're keeping all that ice on there. And then we're going to slowly take the lid off and see if we can watch the cloud rise like clouds would do. So if we look ever so carefully, you can see a little bit of our cloud starting to come out. So that's just an example of how clouds work. So we had our water particles in there that heated up and they began to rise up, and our hairspray acted like the molecules to help bond them together, and it helped to create our cloud in a jar. This is set for about 20 to 30 seconds or so. We're going to get our hairspray. We're going to quickly remove the lid. Don't take the ice off. Try to remove the lid with the ice. And you're going to spray hairspray into the jar and then replace the lid with the ice still on top. And we're going to watch very closely to see what happens. All right, so if we look, our jar is kind of clouded over now. And you can start to see that there's some stuff happening. See if we can add a little bit more. So you can see even down here in our water there's some stuff starting to happen, but watch it as it tries to rise back up. Like I said, make sure we're keeping all that ice on there. And then we're going to slowly take the lid off and see if we can watch the cloud rise like clouds would do. Ready? So if we look ever so carefully, you can see a little bit of our cloud starting to come out. So that's just an example of how clouds work. So we had our water particles in there that heated up and they began to rise up, and our hairspray acted like the molecules to help bond them together, and it helped to create our cloud in a jar.
Hi everyone, I'm Taylor at Atlantis River County Park, and today I'm going to check the rain gauge. It rained last night, so there is some water in here. We usually will collect this data and put it into the CoCoRaHS website so they can store it and kind of see what the statewide rain count would be for the day. So now I'm going to go ahead and get the water out, because we usually will go ahead and make sure that we don't get the same water twice. Alright, so then we just dump it out, and then I'll go put it into the website.
Alright, so as you've seen, here at the park, we do have our very own rain monitoring station. It is through what's called CoCoRaHS, which is an acronym for Community Collaborative Rain, Hail, and Snow Network. And we do check it daily. So it's a nonprofit community-based organization that uses volunteers of all ages and backgrounds that work together to measure and map precipitation, and that can be in the form of rain, hail, or even snow. So they use very, very low cost measuring tools. As you've seen, it's just a plastic tube that we have with measurements marked on it. And they stress training and education and utilizing their interactive website. So you can go on the website and you can actually get your very own rain gauge that you help monitor every day. And it's another way that you can participate and become a scientist. So this is something that we refer to as citizen science, and that is something that is backed by the citizens or people of the community. And they go out and they observe things or study things or record data, and they produce this information for scientists to use to get better ideas of what's going on. So this is a great way that you as a family could get involved with something and help to make a difference in your community. It's open to everyone, but it is a daily commitment. So you want to make sure that every day you can put it somewhere outside that you walk by every single day, to maybe go to your car or to the mailbox or to your playground, whatever you need to do. You can put that up and you go measure it every day, and then you just simply log on to the website and you log it in every day. Alright, so if we look here, you can see this is the community website. So it's cocorahs.org, and this is the About Us page, and this simply tells you a little bit about it. It says who can participate, what will you be doing, who can use it, So it is used by a variety of organizations and individuals. It's used by the National Weather Service, meteorologists, hydrologists, emergency managers, city utilities, insurance adjusters, USDA, engineers, mosquito control, ranchers, farmers, outdoor and recreation interests, teachers, students, neighborhoods, and so many others. And it's things that we can work together to do. So this gives you a little bit of idea, but if you scroll all the way down, you can actually look right here, and it says, how can I sign up? So you can click that right there to sign up, or you can download the PDF version and submit your own application to try to get to here. So it looks very similar, and then you can see when you go in, you have a username and things that you can use to email and log into, and then you're able to see that we log just like this, and you're able to see how much rain we've had, our area, and it gives us all kinds of monitoring guidelines, and all of this data gets submitted to scientists, and they help others like the Weather Service to help us give that better idea of what is actually going on in our world around us.